Right. Get started here in just a minute. Alrighty. Today will be a fun one, team. All right, we're ready to go here in just a second. Hi, everybody. Hi. Okay, so we're going to go over Kiwi, Yen, CAD, and Microsoft Ethereum today, and then we're going to go over supply and demand. That's right, we're going to go over supply demand in detail today. Okay, as you all know, once a week we're going to be doing an educational live session where we go over something on a daily basis. Okay, so let's get going here. All right. Okay, so as you all know, with Jake's live session, okay, you guys went through the pairs that we're interested in. Okay, there's a bunch of them, but we're only going to go through a few of them that we're likely going to see entry, a high probability of entry. Okay, before then we take it to supply and demand and how that drives the market. Okay, so let's get right into it now. Okay, first off, Kiwi Yen. All right. Monthly time frame, as usual, Kiwi is currently at a negative 1.7 fundamentally. All right, Yen is currently at a negative 3.6. Now, Kiwi is currently weaker than usual. However, usually we see this on the positive side. We do expect it to gain more strength. I do know that the weakness is likely caused, it's fundamentally caused, but also technically caused. One of the inputs that we have to get these numbers is technicals are also included when price reaches a significant area of sell pressure, so forth. Okay, right now price is in a higher time frame exhaustion after a strong battle with buy pressure, so we know that that will affect fundamentals. We do expect it to gain more strength, and we will likely see price to the upside. Now, we know that Kiwi has been strong for quite some time. As you can see, strong uptrend to the upside. We're only looking for a move to the upside. Buy pressure broke sell pressure at our weekly lower, has now made its way to its weekly upper. Okay, so now we're looking to capitalize when we zoom it in here. All right, we're looking to capitalize on the move to where? To our monthly upper zone. We know that this is a battle between buyers and sellers. Okay, we know that buyers have fundamental support. Okay, as the Kiwi is stronger than the Yen. Yen is also safe haven status. It's going to be pinned as the economies or world economies open up and improve. Okay, so if buy pressure, which it will with fundamental support, breaks weekly upper zone, it will have free range to its monthly zone. Before then, it will reach its next area of significant sell pressure. All right, so as we know, team, we're looking for a move to the upside here, okay, on Kiwi Yen. What we see here is finally a break of area of sensitivity. We see consolidation, buy pressure with fundamental support, finally made a push. We're now coming back for exhaustion. Before then, we're looking for a continuational push to the upside. When we take it to the 4H time frame, all right, we do see some buy sensitivity on a horizontal level. However, we are reaching low volatility or low volume hours in the market, low liquidity, which means that we likely will see a continuation and exhaustion before tomorrow's London open and a move to the upside. The key here is, though, is that we do have lower lows, team. Okay, as you can see, this is a relatively significant downtrend, even after impulse move and a pin bar. Sell pressure is still coming in, likely for what will be a stop hunt to the upside, okay? So what are we waiting for? We're waiting for price to break these lower lows to the upside before we enter a completion of exhaustion and a continuation move. Okay, so Kiwi Yen, we are keeping this on the burner. We're very close to an entry, okay? And as you all know, we're gonna keep riding that thing. We reached TP1 on that bad boy last week. Okay, so CAD Yen. All right, CAD Yen. CAD is currently the second strongest after gold at the moment. CAD is currently at a positive 2.2. We know that it's because it's correlated to the price of crude oil, right? Crude is moving to the upside as demand and supply is decreasing, demand is increasing. We're going to talk about that shortly here with supply demand, right? CAD's at a positive 2.2. Yen is currently at a negative 3.6. We do have some fundamental separation here. Okay, we do know that we're likely moving to the upside. Push breaking our 4H. Actually, no, we need to start on the monthly time frame as usual. Okay, so as we know, CAD has been seeing a tremendous amount of strength, okay? And the number one thing for those of you that are new to trading is you have to identify the current. And in this case, the current is to the upside, right? It's hard to swim against the current, much easier to swim with it. If you see something like this, it still outstands me how many people look to go short when they see something like this. Tell me, is there one short candle close on the monthly time frame? Absolutely not. And very rarely on even the weekly. You want to increase your odds, and by identifying the direction, you increase your odds significantly by just doing something super simple like that, right? So here we have buy pressure break our weekly as expected, double confirmation, continuation move, free range to our monthly, not much in terms of a challenge for buyers in terms of daily mid-range and 4H mid-range. Okay, as expected, we are making our free range to our monthly upper. I know some of you have been holding this bad boy with us for a long time without even taking profits since our weekly lower zone. And some of you had some tight SLs on that, which means your value per pip was very nice. Congratulations, you're riding this thing to the monthly. We took, profit, got back in, took profit. It wasn't just one entry to the upside, it was a number of them throughout, but I know some of you just stuck with it. Okay, so CAD Yen, 4H break of our 4H mid-range zone. What is happening now? We're in consolidation. When price fails to come back for completion of exhaustion, okay, again, consolidation. We know that buy pressure is keeping price to the upside, sell pressure is keeping price to the downside. Now, what's going to happen here? Price is going to make its way to previous level of sell pressure, okay? And we have to be aware of a push, exhaustion, price action, entry confirmation before continuation push, because there could be a stop hunt, which we see previous. This is a perfect place for a stop hunt. So there's two scenarios. We see push, exhaustion, price action, entry confirmation, continuation push, or we see push, stop hunt, we make our way down to previous low, which then we're going to be placing a buy limit order for that move to the upside. So we're looking up here or we're looking up here. Either way, we're looking to the upside, not to the downside. Boom. Okay, we're now taking it to Ethereum. Okay, as you all know, we had green light on that bad boy and we're currently up. Okay, well, we've been up on this on Ethereum for quite some time. All right. But in terms of, there's two types of investors, right? There's an investor and then there's a day trader, okay? We're both on Ethereum, okay? Holding it long-term, not buying, selling, and then short-term trades are also welcome when we identify technical opportunities, okay? So as we know, we had a strong move to the upside with Ethereum, as the whole crypto market did, thus, and Ethereum as well. Okay, we saw an exhaustion to the downside. A lot of people called it Armageddon or collapse. No, it was just an exhaustion. The important thing is that buy sensitivity came in as expected. Okay, before this move to the downside, okay, where was price's previous area of buy pressure? Here, right? And we do see buyers entering where they should be, thus telling us that there's still buy sensitivity and buyers willing to enter at a reasonable price, okay? So we do have buy sensitivity. We know Ethereum, we're bullish on Ethereum, okay? We do think it's going to take some of Bitcoin's market cap away from it, okay? We do know that it is a better technology, a better platform, which then other coins are being developed, other softwares and protocols are being developed on top of, okay? So we are bullish, which means that we're only looking for entries to the upside here. So as you all know, we had the entry, okay, reverse head and shoulders, push, exhaustion, double confirmation on the lower time frame. We're now moving to the upside, okay? For those of you that are entered recently at the recent green light, okay, you're also moving to the upside here. So what's going to happen at previous high? We have to take TP1. Why? We know that there's sell pressure here. There will be an impulse move, okay? And then we move SL to entry and we ride that wave, okay? Ethereum USD, moving on to Microsoft. All right. Look at that uptrend on Microsoft, just moving to the upside. Poor Bill Gates, okay, recent divorce. They said listen, we don't know shit, but what they say is that his wife filed for divorce after she found out that he had a relationship with Epstein, okay? Listen, who knows? You don't know people, right? Okay, so uptrend, higher highs at every area of respect. We're seeing buy pressure with 2 pin bars here, even though they were bearish closes. Okay, we do know that there's buy sensitivity where we expect. Double confirmation is a significant indicator. Again, exhaustion. We have push, exhaustion, retesting, uptrend, higher highs. We have impulse to the upside. Why is an impulse happening? Again, take profits, SLs, limit orders, market orders, stop orders, market reaction to area sensitivity, the retest, and then this is the important one. Second injection of buy pressure, breaking previous high. Okay, previous high. This is a level of sell pressure. Now that's resistance, but we broke, push, exhaustion, support. Former resistance will now become new support. Once we get price action confirmation, we're looking for entry to previous high. Okay, will be a nice one on Microsoft. I don't see it. I see this one being a winning trade. All right, team. So now we are going to take it to supply and demand. All right. So if you're a member of the Forex Shaman community, this is getting packaged right now to look a little bit tighter by Sharif. Okay, we're going to have like essentially a booklet that's coming out, but also this will be sent out independently to you through your emails. All right. Now, this is all from scratch. Of course, this information is just not made up by me. There's a lot of research that goes into this. I'm also trying to dig deep. You know, the cool thing about doing this community and the gentleman markets community is that it also keeps me learning, right? Doing things like that, it makes me research, learn, write. Okay, it's fun to do that stuff. Okay, because if I didn't have you, all the members, I probably wouldn't be diving in and doing this. Okay, so it's pretty cool. All right, so supply demand. Okay, extremely important in understanding supply demand when we're talking about the value of an asset or the value of a currency. Okay, so let's go through this together. All right, so supply demand. Okay, extremely important. Demand. Okay, and then the supply demand in the FX market is no exception. Okay. Of course, it's simple to explain the impact and shifts in supply demand will have on the value of the currency. It's another entirely to try to explain what factors cause those shifts. So it's, again, we understand supply demand, okay? We understand it affects prices, but why? What is the detail in that, okay? And that's what we're gonna go over today. So let's make sure we're all on the same page here with the charting and how supply demand is actually charted. Where did my pen go? There it is, okay. So let's actually get this bad boy's got to come back up. All right, you don't have to do it like this. When I make something the full page, I guess, the pen doesn't let me use this pen. Okay, so it's extremely important to understand when we talk about charts and on supply demand, all right? Here is the demand line, all right? As you can see, this is the demand line, all right? And here is the supply line. Now, these two can shift. Demand can shift. Of course, the demand for a product can go higher, can go lower, and the supply for that product can also go higher and go lower. Okay, so here we're talking about the x-axis. So this is 0 to 10. So if we were to move supply, so let's say supply was to increase, the supply line would actually move to the downside. If supply was to decrease, it would move to the upside. And the same, and with demand, if demand was to decrease, because it's 0 to 4 here, demand line would decrease to the downside. If it was to increase, the demand line would move to the upside. So this shifts price. So where is price right now? Well, price is right here. Okay, demand, supply, where they cross. All right, now let's take it to another figure. Okay, now the demand line has shifted, correct? So what has happened here? Supply of this product has stayed the same. Demand for this product has dropped, which means that the price of this product has also significantly dropped. When supply and demand, when the demand line shifts, the supply changes, the price drops. This is why in many cases when companies develop, especially luxury good companies, this is why they never have this supply line extremely high. They have to keep it low. Because if demand is low, which it tends to be, or lower, which it tends to be when the product is of luxury sorts, because there's less people in the market that can buy it, for example, they have to keep that supply low, or else the price doesn't make sense if the supply is high and the demand is low. That's why they always do limited edition releases, or watch companies will only have 1,000 of these made, okay? Because they're creating demand by the low supply. Now, let's move forward, okay? So let's change the supply line now. Okay, so let's say we now know the supply is shifting, okay? So the supply was here and has shifted to the downside. Demand has stayed constant, okay? So as the supply increases, okay, the demand, okay, as the supply increases and the demand stays the same, the price will drop. As the supply decreases and demand stays the same, the price will increase. Okay, again, you shift the supply demand lines and you manipulate the price. Extremely important to understand that. Now, let's get into the details of this. Okay, so let's move on. Hopefully you understand the supply demand chart. Essentially where these two cross is where price is, okay? Now, supply demand in the currency market is primarily driven by 4 factors or 5 factors: trade flows, investment flows, money supply, government intervention, currency manipulation, investor fear, and greed, okay? So let's start with trade flows, okay? Trade flows represent the money that flows from one country to another, okay, for the trade of goods, services between two countries, okay? So we have foreign and domestic demand for goods, okay? And extremely important. Now, let's start with the foreign demand for goods. Let's say you are from the United States, and let's say, okay, the United States has a product that everybody wants. This means that people are converting it, like, let's say you're selling a product from the US to Japan. You're not just going to accept the Japanese yen for your product, you need US dollars. So what happens is there's a conversion from yen to USD, which means that there's less supply of the USD in the market. Okay, so when we bring it back to the charts, all right, let's take a look again. When we talk about less supply, so price moves to the upside or the supply line moves to the upside, we're talking about an increase in price, okay? So when the foreign demand for good is high, okay, which will lead to trade surplus or trade deficit, which we'll get to in a sec, okay? When the foreign demand for good is high, that means that there's more conversion or less supply of that currency in the market. So if I have a product, if the USD has a product or an export that the rest of the world is in demand for, okay, we know that when they buy it, okay, when they buy our goods, they have to buy US dollars in conversion of their currency to USD, which takes away USD, reduces the supply in the market, thus the value of that currency increases because the supply is reduced. Okay, this is assuming demand stays constant. Okay, now domestic demand for foreign goods. This could reduce the value of your currency. Okay, let's say that the the US is in demand for other goods and needs to buy it elsewhere. That means the US is converting the US dollar into essentially the currency that they need to buy the product from, wherever that country is, thus increasing the supply of the US dollar, reducing the price of the US dollar. Okay, now Monitoring trade flows is another aspect of identifying supply demand, but it is harder, okay? Not every company, public companies, okay, have to produce financial statements, but not all the time do they talk about all their investments that they're making unless it's extremely high profile or whatnot, okay? But monitoring trade flows is to navigate the economic calendar. Here are the basics. If a country has a trade surplus with another country, it means that there is greater foreign demand for domestic good. If you have a trade surplus, meaning that you are exporting more than you import, what does that mean? That means that you have a trade surplus. That means that your currency, if this was the only input, means that the currency would increase in price or in value because there's less surplus of or less supply of that currency in the market. Okay, and the trade deficit goes for the same thing. Okay, and we'll get to that in more detail. Okay, investment flows. Okay, investment flow represent the money that flows from one country to